Get it going.
Sounds good.
Okay, call to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
United States of America, to the
and
republic
To the republic
for which it stands,
and
One
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Bordenaro,
Present.
Mr. Fernandez,
Here.
Mr. Grady,
Here.
Ms. McNair,
Here,
Mr. Millard,
Here.
Mr. Paradis.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay. I'm not sure. There's nobody on for public comment, I don't think, right?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's get right into it. I think just from my perspective, again, it's disappointing on the referendum numbers. Even the first referendum is not not really huge either. But with this specific one, I think for me, it doesn't want to make, it doesn't give me enough to even want to make any changes at all. And, my opinion is I would hold whatever the current budgets are and not make any changes. That's just my opinion. And-
Well, I'm gonna come down in the same spot. I don't see enough there to make it worthwhile to change it. I think where we're at is fine, and I'm just gonna stay with that.
Okay, so do we want to start with the Board of Education?
I think I
So-
just, I,
Go
I'd
go
like to,
ahead, go ahead. please.
I know that there wasn't a lot of turnout, but I question whether there's not a lot of turnout because they feel that whatever is the vote isn't going to change anything, or I'm not sure what the answer is to that. I think that the 2 automatic referendums is the most ridiculous thing ever. So, but I also think that the people that at least turn out are the ones that are the angriest ones. And so if you want to go by that, just for the sake of argument, I'd like to make a motion to increase the Board of Ed to 3.2%.
Second.
All right, so, why don't we do a roll vote then? Those in favor? Well, let's do a roll vote. Okay,
Okay.
so.
All right.
I say, I'm saying no.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Grady,
No.
Ms. McNair,
Yes,
Mr. Millard,
No.
Mr. Paradis.
Yes.
So the vote is 3-3, so the motion does not pass.
I find it interesting that this time around, with less people voting, we're supposed to pay attention to what the voters say. But last time around, when the voters wanted the budget cut for the town side, nobody wanted to do it. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well,
That's not true.
yeah, and I don't want to cut
That's
the
not true at
town
all.
side anyway. That's not where my heart stands to start. And I think 3.2 was where I had started originally. I don't want to cut the town side. I don't think that the people that turned out were there for the town. I think that the people that were there were for the Board of Ed. I know you can't tell that, but that's just my feeling. So,
And at the last meeting, the 6 of us were actually agreeing on cutting the town based on the vote. We just did not agree on to what to cut. That's why I went up to TC to give their input.
did the council only cut the overtime for the storm related overtime, correct?
That's correct.
They did not?
They also cut 200,000 from the local grant match. They cut 250,000.
They didn't cut anything from the police overtime, correct?
No,
Correct.
they did not.
I guess one of the problems I have is the interpretation of the vote. I mean, again, the too high, too low are advisory questions. They're not a vote per se. So how do you interpret the results? There's a couple of ways to look at it. Most people are looking at it that the no's were the higher one of the Board of Ed on the no side. But if you look at the total vote, 56% of the people said it was either okay or too high. That's how I look at it. I don't have a majority that said it's too low, and that's my interpretation. That was our interpretation last year, and I think it's a valid interpretation. I don't have an overwhelming majority saying that the Board of Education vote was too low.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that because, and plus the fact that, you know, there's such a low number, but, I don't understand, you know, definition of fail, you know, per se, George. In other words, just because yes or no are higher, you know, one is higher than the other, that's the definition of fail. It's an advisory question to begin with, so I don't know where the word fail came from, you know what I mean? Maybe it's part of the definition of within the charter, but to me, to your point, the yeses and nos too high and the BOE is 56%. And same goes for the town. If you look at it, the yes and the no's too low is 57%. So I mean, we could talk about it all night. So I'm gonna make a motion to go with 3%.
Sal, can I just say something about, you know, I think all of this stuff, we all have our problems with
Yep.
the votes and whatever, but it seems to me a lot of our problems and issues come down to a charter that is forcing us to vote in certain ways and take certain votes. And my suggestion would be to get everyone behind a charter revision to rewrite the nonsense out of the charter and, you know, make everybody's job easier going forward, to make it so that people who are making the budget are held responsible at election time, and we don't waste money and time going through multiple revisions of referendum. You know, if you want to have one referendum in there and one body that votes on the budget, seems to me you could place the responsibility for whether you like the budget or not like the budget on one body. Right now we have Board of Finance, we have council, you know, and we're going, we can increase, they can't increase, you know, I mean, the whole thing is just so disjointed. And I'm saying what we've all said before, but I think if we could all come out in support of something, you know, maybe we don't have to go through this every year.
I agree, Jerry. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes when people see change, you know, to even the charter, they don't completely understand it, and then they just refuse to accept the change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we really gotta educate people because in some cases, people may think we're taking away the vote from them. You know what I'm saying, Jer?
Mhm.
But the vote is 5% or 9%, whatever you want to call it, of the total population, which is not really representative. I mean, I talk to people, they're upset with revaluation still from last year, and they definitely don't want their taxes to increase yet. We're not seeing it in people coming out to vote, you know, so.
Yeah, right here.
So, any other comments?
I just don't think we should go, I agree with the town with the town charter is a mess. But in reality, everybody can agree on it, and everybody can agree it's a great thing to change the charter, and we should do that. But we went through the same process just a couple of years ago with the VNA. And we had unanimous support on the Board of Finance, at the town council, and the Charter Revision Committee from both parties, that we were going to do this, and this was the best thing for the town. And then as soon as we passed it, it immediately turned into a campaign issue. So I'm not going to go down that road again. it is what it is, and it's to say to the people, we're gonna take away your right to pick your taxes, I think is just a bad way to go. We couldn't get them to agree on losing money with the VNA.
I agree. I think that we were all unanimous for the finance and town council, and it became a campaign issue to folks who wanted higher expectations than they want to serve, and for that they started spreading lies, and the folks tend to believe the lies versus the actual facts, and that's kind of what happened, which is a shame because for the first time in a very long time we were all very much unified beyond the council, beyond the board of finance. Actually, the parties were unified. We knew that there was a problem. Other folks decided to step in and just lie about it. That's a shame.
Well, it goes a little deeper than that, but we won't go into that right now. I think at this point, let's just get through this, what we've got to set for tonight, and we can worry about that other stuff later.
Okay,
Agreed.
All right, so I'll make a motion to stay with the 3% increase on the Board of Education.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Okay, let's have a roll call. Roll vote.
Mr. Bornaro,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
No.
Mr. Grady,
Yes,
Ms. McNair,
yes,
Mr. Millard,
Yes,
Mr. Paradis,
Yes,
5-1, the motion passes.
Okay. Any further discussion on the town or does somebody want to make a motion to stay with the budget that was
I make a
proposed?
motion, we stay with the budget as set before for the town.
Is there a second?
second.
Any further discussion? Okay, let's do a roll vote, Kevin?
Mr. Bornaro,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Grady,
Yes,
Ms. McNair,
yes,
Mr. Millard,
Yes,
Mr. Paradis,
yes.
6-0, the motion passes.
do we need a motion on the water?
Yeah, I guess same motion, I guess, to keep it.
Same motion, make a motion to keep the water commission budget the same as it was prior.
A second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion? Okay, roll vote?
Mr. Bornaro,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Grady,
Yes,
Ms. McNair,
yes,
Mr. Millard,
Yes,
Mr. Paradis,
Yes,
6-0, the motion passes.
Okay, do we have to do item 2, Kevin?
No, it's gonna have to
Okay.
wait because the council has an option to change the
Okay.
budget, but you do
Okay.
need to set another meeting. I would propose for June 5th. It has to be either the 5th or the 6th. The charter requires you to set the mill rate within 2 days of the budget being adopted, so the same budget will go forward and the council will either adopt it as you forwarded it or make reductions, or they could reject it, but I don't know how the 5th or the 6th looks. Basically, this is historically has been about a 30-second meeting. I think
Yep.
roll call has taken longer, so we could do it any time you want. We could do it morning, afternoon, evening, whatever works best for everybody.
Okay. Any feedback from anyone?
either day.
yeah, either day.
I'm good either way.
I'll make time. I'll make time.
same
Same
here.
with me.
Yep, just set a time.
I mean, I know that Raul works, and Denise works. But, you want to do a 6 again, or you guys want to do it earlier?
I would personally even do an early one. But if you guys are out golfing, as opposed to us suckers working,
Just pick the time.
What
5
day are we talking about?
Wednesday, the 5th.
Okay,
Wednesday or Fifth.
at 5?
That's fine. I'll do
That's fine.
fine.
Okay,
And we'll do Zoom, I assume.
yes, yes.
All right,
Yes,
June 5th, 5 PM on Zoom. I will notice the meeting and send it out to everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right,
Motion to adjourn.
second,
Second.
Can I just ask you one quick thing before we do, something to think about? I noticed that our Board of Finance meetings are generally on the same night as the town council. Why don't we think about maybe staggering it like a week so that if we run into these situations where we have to act quickly on something, the town council can pass the legislation to us and then we're coming up the next week anyways.
I agree with
Normally
you.
that happens.
Yeah.
The council typically is the first and third Tuesday and you are the second Tuesday. It does shift occasionally, election in November. There might be a holiday, but typically it's first and third for the council, second for the Board of Finance.
Okay, just seems like we've hit a lot of the same nights lately.
Yeah, we've had
Yeah.
a couple of those that have popped up. They do occasionally.
All right,
Okay,
all right, all those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
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 All right, well, thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take
Have a
care.
good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Good
have
night.
a good one.
Good night.
Take care.